Today, something a little different, a surprisingly requested video, what's in my iPhone? I'll be showing you all my important apps, how I use them, and generally what I spend most of my time doing on my iPhone. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Surfshark, a VPN service and app I've been using quite frequently since I've discovered it. It's one of my go-to apps now and something I'll show you in more detail later on, so let's check it out. This video is definitely going to be a little different from my usual videos. It's a little more casual. There's no fast editing like I usually do. Plus a little bonus, I just bought this Nike ACG hat. And the cool thing about it is, ow, I cut my hair. Bam, it's now a visor. And I'm really sweaty right now, so I'm going to keep it like that. I'm not very good at live talking, so bear with me. I'm just gonna do my best here, and here we go. So like many people, the first screen is my most used apps, and the bottom drawer is my most used apps that I just have to use all the time, every time. Starting from the top, the first thing is the Photos app, because I do take a lot of reference photos. I'm not a photographer or iPhoneographer, but I do use it to take a lot of weird selfies as well. Next, beside that, honestly, one of the most used apps on my phone, Google Maps, because whenever I drive or even walk sometimes, I gotta know where I'm going because I suck at directions and I don't want my girlfriend to yell at me. As you can see, a bunch of saved locations and places I would like to go. I prefer Google Maps over Apple Maps just because it integrates with my Google account, so I have everything saved in one place. Next, beside that, is Transit, which I find is the best public transportation tracking app, especially in Toronto. The TTC just sucks. So it tells me how long each one is gonna take, and it's usually almost always pretty accurate on how long it's going to be. You can also rent bikes and call Ubers and stuff here too. The phone app right on the corner, it's rarely used, but I leave it on the corner just so it's like quick access. Right there. Settings right beside that, honestly something I go to quite a bit, so I leave it on the front screen. I change a lot of settings, turn off Bluetooth, stuff like that. Airbnb beside that, for anyone that doesn't know, you rent people's homes or they're like fake hotels kind of thing. I'm also an Airbnb host, so I like to have that little badge on the app to know if I'm missing any messages from guests so they're not like super angry at me. YouTube Studio beside that, this is for any YouTube creators on the platform. It allows you to see all your videos, your analytics, respond to comments. So basically where I see all you guys rage about my broken fingernail. Next beside that is the Apple Reminders app as my reminders to-do list app of choice, just because it's integrated into the iPhone. I find it works the best and probably my second most used productivity app, second from Evernote. It does everything right. It has everything built in that I need, time, date, and even with the iOS 13 upgrades, they've made it much better with some new features like scan document, photo library, that kind of thing. And the best part is it does integrate with Siri, so I can just say, hey Siri, remind me to brush my teeth tonight.
Okay, your reminder is set for tonight.
Bam, just like that. This workflow is the best when I'm driving and I can't use my phone, and when an epiphany comes to me while driving, because it always does when I'm driving, I'll just say, hey Siri, and bang, recorded. Google Sheets is my kind of data organizer. I like to create spreadsheets for a lot of things because, again, it integrates with my Gmail and my Google account. It has everything saved. Again, another productivity app that I use quite often. Swarm used to be part of Foursquare. I guess it's still part of Foursquare. It just allows me to check into restaurants and places, and it knows the places around me already. So I have it connected to a trigger that once I check into Swarm, it adds it to my calendar. Once it adds it to my calendar, I'm able to look back on certain days and see, okay, what was I doing on this day? Oh, I checked into McDonald's and I ate McDonald's on that day. So I'm just able to reference back because, again, terrible memory. Splitwise is an app my girlfriend found and made all our friends download so we can organize what we owe each other in money. We can split a bill and just add whoever is on it, and it would just kind of keep track of who owes who what, because cash is king. Next up is RedFlagDeals. It's more of a social app for like deal hunters. They have a forum on there. This is for Canadians only. They have hot deals and people just post what they find as really great deals. Very similar to Slick Deals for the US. If you're in the US, you'd know, kind of same idea. Narwhal is my Reddit client of choice. No specific reason. I do like that it shows the images. I think other ones do that too, but I'm able to scroll and just see all the images and read the titles. And WhatsApp, for people with Android phones or some people with iPhones, they just like WhatsApp. mainly because you can actually reply to messages, specific messages, which is way better than iMessage. Come on, Apple. Spotify is my music player of choice. I just find the playlists are a lot better. The curated ones, especially Discover Weekly, is my favorite one just because it gives me new music. Some of my favorite ones probably right now, TGIF, Discover Weekly, like I said, and some instrumentals as well when I'm working. I like to have that on. Shopify, because my website is based on Shopify. I need to keep track of orders and analytics, that kind of thing. FreshBooks is what I use to invoice. I don't use the app a lot, but I do like to have it on the front screen just in case I do ever need to pull up something, as it is my main source of income. So I like to have that there. Burner is a great app if you're like a drug dealer or just want to hide your number kind of thing. You can buy it a line for like an actual phone plan you can use month to month or a year, or you can buy credits and you can create new numbers on the fly, which is super cool and super useful if you like to sell things on Craigslist or Kijiji and you don't want to share your real number. This is a good way to do it. You just buy a credit, make a line, and then use it for like a day or something, and it'll disappear after that. Calendars 5 is my calendar app of choice, not particularly because I love it, it's just because I paid for it, so I stuck with it. It's got all the different views. It even has a built-in task list that you can integrate with Apple's reminder. Breaks down by list day, week, month, and it also has machine learning, so you can type something in plain English and it'll create the event for you. Now the next one is thanks to the sponsor of this video, Surfshark, a VPN service that makes it super easy to protect you online. Basically like how a case protects your phone, Surfshark protects your online data. With it turned on, it blocks ads, it blocks trackers, it blocks malware, any phishing attempts, basically what you should be worried about when you're online and watching those videos. And it's super easy too. Just open the app and it says quick connect. Well, bam. The best part is it's cross-platform. I have the app on my iPhone, on my iPad, and I have it installed on my Windows laptop as well. One account, and I can use it simultaneously on all my devices, and I stay protected from the 6 or 7 hours I spend on the internet, so no one can see the things I am searching. And of course, my favorite, because I'm in Canada, I'm unable to view a lot of content from the States because it's geo-locked or whatever it's called. So if you just switch to say I'm in Buffalo, now it thinks I'm in Buffalo and I can view any Hulu, Netflix content, that kind of stuff, even some YouTube stuff too. If you want to try it out yourself, use the first link down below to save 83% and get your first month free. So the bottom row for me is my attempt to try and read more. As you can see in my first screen, there's no social apps, there's no Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing, because I want my first instinct to be that I read instead of scroll on some social apps. So I have Feedly as my news aggregator. I put a bunch of sources in there and it just gives me all the articles from those websites. It also saves the Pocket for any articles that I don't want to read at the moment. I personally love Pocket just because it's a simple app. It does one thing really well, save your articles, and even downloads them offline. So when you're going through them, it even formats the text so it's easy to read on the go. Medium is another source of reading. Depends on who you follow, what kind of topics you follow, and then it gives you a bunch of articles based on that. And then the right hand corner here is just a quick to access app. I have Moment, the camera app, because I find it's great for controlling everything. You can control white balance, EV, ISO, that kind of thing. But the most important one is I can control which camera I'm using by clicking this button here. I can pick and choose, and it just forces that camera to use every time. And I can use RAW, TIFF, or just regular JPEGs. And they also do video, but it's just everything built into one, and it does it really well. They even have the histogram at the top corner there. So I like the Moment app. On the bottom, of course, like these are all productivity apps plus my one messaging app. Gmail, both my emails are based on that, my personal and my business. Evernote is my go-to work, productivity, life, journaling, everything. I write it down in here. I save things in here, I reference receipts, and most important, it's cross-platform as well. So I can use it on my iPad and I can use it on a Windows device. So anything I write here will sync to here, will sync to here. My go-to productivity app, I highly recommend. Google Chrome is my browser of choice. Again, mainly because it syncs with my Gmail. And again, whatever I have open on my Windows, whatever I have open on my iPad, I'm able to access on my iPhone as well because it's all synced by account. As you can see, a lot of the services I use mainly are based on Google or based on just a cross-platform kind of notion, so I can use it wherever I am. I'm not limited to only my iPhone. I can switch to an Android device and still have access to all this information. The second screen is just all like backups and apps that I like to have, but I don't use that often, and just apps that I download and like to try out. I just watched Justin sees what's on my iPhone video, and he had just watched the app, which shows you a bunch of TV shows. So I downloaded that. I'm going to test that out. And then I organized a bunch of folders, photos for other photos apps, editing tools mainly, and tools to connect my like cameras like 1X or DJI stuff. There is FiLMiC Pro, which is a great video recording app. I don't do a lot of video recording on my iPhone, so I have it when I need it, but I don't generally use it. Lightroom is great because I can sync whatever I have on my computer and I can edit on the go, which I like. Google Photos I use for backups. The GoPro app is great for a second screen when I'm doing some POV shots or whatever. Entertainment app is just, there's a few things, there's not a lot. Cineplex is our movie theaters in Canada. Overcast I'm testing out for podcasts, but I generally use the Apple Podcast app because again, it just works. I have no complaints of it. Utilities, App Store is probably my most used one because I'm always trying out new stuff. Jump Desktop, another great one. Cross-platform, I have it on my iPad. I'm able to remote desktop into my computer. Well, bam, this is my laptop I have on right now. I'm able to remote and control my laptop or my desktop that I have in my office. If I need any files, I can drag it into Dropbox, which will sync over Tile because I use Tiles to track stuff. Just a bunch of other utilities, not really something I use that often. Apple apps, I just like to keep it in a folder. I've never opened these stuff. I don't even use the Notes app. This is called the Buy folder because it's just shopping. Greenpea is probably my most used app because I park a lot and it's just easier to refill the parking meter that way. Kijiji is my most used because I do sell a lot of stuff locally, so I post stuff on there. Otherwise, phone services, banks, and then a bunch of store apps, McDonald's, 7-Eleven. Some of them have like point systems, so I keep them on to use that. Games, I don't have a lot because I don't really play a lot of games. I only play one a lot, which is PUBG. Call of Duty I've been playing a lot lately. Mario Kart was fun for like a week, and then yeah. Atomas was one of the first games that I just really loved. It's so simple. It's just one of those games you can pick up and just start playing, and it kind of saves its state. It's not something that requires you to think a lot, so it's just fun to pass time with that. Another one of my favorite games, and they made this into a arcade kind of real life machine game, which is super fun. And if you get really good at this, and you have to do it in a row 50 whatever times. Piano Tiles is great because it's very rhythmic if you like rhythm stuff. And it's great like if you like that tap revolution kind of stuff. It kind of feeds that kind of need for a... Anyways, Pokemon Go I have, but I haven't actually played in a long time, so I'm actually going to delete that live. Oh, Timberman, another game that doesn't require a lot of thought. This you want to miss the branches and you want to do it as fast as possible. So again, if you like tapping games, like I obviously do, it's just fun to do. Social apps, of course, Facebook Messenger, Twitter. I use that. Follow me on Twitter if you want to like reach out. I usually respond there. Really quick, Instagram. I have my personal and my business one. WeChat to contact my parents. Skype for some business calls I do sometimes. Yelp I use to find new restaurants. Giphy I have, but it's mainly for just the external keyboard. I like to use Nike Train Club. Don't be deceived. I don't train a lot and barely use that app. I have TikTok. It's on the second page for a reason. I don't ever use it. Temp Mail is cool because it creates a just very temporary email for you. So when you're signing up for newsletters or you want discount codes, Temp Mail creates one quick. Great for you. Nintendo Switch. YouTube's here. Skillshare as well. I open that sometimes just to go through and see what courses they have. Business, a bunch of apps I need to run my business and my money. Well, Simple is what I use. Uber, Lyft, that kind of thing. Lifestyle are just, these are apps I use to find products. Gadget Flow is really great for that. They curate a bunch of stuff, and if you just search a term, it gives you a bunch of stuff in those, and they categorize really well as well. Discord as well, if you want to join the Discord channel. It's basically a chat server which I created and is revolved around EDC, iPhone, case content, that kind of stuff. So if you like that, definitely check it out. That's it. Don't forget to check out Surfshark and save 83% and get your first month free. Stay protected, get better prices, watch whatever you want. All the other major apps, mainly on my first screen that I mentioned, are linked down below to the App Store. So let me know in the comments what apps you use the most, and I may just have to check them out. I rest my case, phone, apps.